Okay, I've got a Technics SA-410 here. This is from the early 80s, like 83, 45 watts per channel. It's a nice little unit, and they had a couple of these. They had the 410, the 510, the 810, and then the big 1010, which is actually was the cover picture. It might still be for the 80s and 90s hi-fi group. Anyways, this has an STK chip, and what's kind of unique about STK chips is usually there are no bias adjustments, especially for the stuff that's later 80s. But sure enough, the 410 has an adjustment, and they call it the ICQ. And ICQ was like a term that Technics used for all their receivers, even going back to the mid 70s. It's like intelligent something quality, I think. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and see how far this is off. There are 2 test points, and I'm going to hook up a pair of 8 ohm speakers, because that's what it says, 8 ohms for whichever speakers we're going to use. And we're going to see how far off this is. And this should be at 15 millivolts. So let's see how far this is off. I have no idea where it is. So let's find out. Okay, Technics made this a little more difficult than it needed to be. The service manual seems to show that there's posts, but there are not. So I just traced the posts of where they are in the board to the closest resistor or other test point, and I know I got it right. We're at 3.6. This is supposed to be at 15. Now, being that this is an STK chip, these things are extremely delicate and fragile. So I'm going to make darn sure I don't go over 15. This is way under, so this probably isn't performing the way it should. So I'm going to go slow. Oh, it's very touchy. This should be at 15. And yeah, I'm probably going to have to turn the camera off to get this. But we were at 3.5. If we can get this even close to 15, that's better. Okay, 14.9. We're not going to touch it, so that's good. Wow, it's even 15 exact. So now let's go ahead and do the left channel. All right, I got the left channel connected. I might have the polarity wrong, but this is kind of like bouncing around 1 to 3. And again, this needs to be at 15. Let me spray just a little bit of deoxit on the potentiometer, just a little, to improve the conductivity. These things are very sensitive. So let's get this up to 15. Ooh. The STK chips are very sensitive, so you don't want to overdo these. Oh, this one's very touchy. Oh, that's not good. So let's see what happens here. 16, boy, this is bouncing around a lot. We're gonna bring this back down. I'm gonna bring it back down. I'm afraid I'm gonna blow this chip out if I'm not careful here. Oh, I don't know why it's bouncing around so much. So I'm gonna keep bringing it down until it levitates. You know, these things being old, I think it's very possible that, you know, the circuitry just isn't what it used to be. But this, we'll try it again here. Okay, we're 9. Okay, it's 13, 17. I don't know why it's going so high. But let's just see here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see what I can do here. I'm going to let this sit. By the way, this has been on for like 15 minutes, so I always do these adjustments when it's been on. But this one's all over the place. Okay, I actually sprayed deoxit on the test points and redid the connection, and now the best I can do is around 13.8. I'm completely fine with that. So we started off with the left channel and the right channel being completely lower than they should. Right now, this is about where it should be, so I'm going to go ahead and check for performance. Also, I'm feeling this heatsink because, you know, these STK chips are very delicate, and this does not seem to be very hot. Apparently, if you over adjust these and you leave them too long, you'll burn them right out. And this has a protection circuit that's kind of fancy, but whether that would catch it or not is yet to be determined. So let me go ahead and put this back together and let's see how it performs. It's working great. I don't know if there's a discernible difference or not, to be honest with you, because when I've used this, it seemed to work well. But the fact is, it's now biased and the amp is tuned the way it should be.